There is breaking news just coming out of Omaha, and that is that Warren Buffett has entirely sold all of his positions in Delta, American Airlines, Southwest Airlines, and United Airlines. So he had $7 to $8 billion in America's four big airlines, and he has decided to sell them all. 100% of them. As Buffett said, we put in 7 or 8 billion and we did not take anything out like 7 or 8 billion, and that was my mistake. But in this video, I want to clarify exactly why Buffett decided to sell his entire positions. I mean, this is just something that we don't see Buffett doing all of the time. When panic comes in a certain industry, Buffett's normally the one buying those companies, not selling. So, as you would think, there must be pretty big reasons why Buffett made the decision to sell. And Buffett, he talked about these reasons in the 2020 shareholder meeting. Essentially, it comes down to two business and economic factors. Let me explain further. The first thing you've got to realize about airlines right now is they're currently making substantial losses because of the world and the United States lockdown. Put short, no one's really traveling, and therefore airlines are losing money. I mean, look at this. This is the financials for American Airlines. As you can see, in 2019, everything was going fine. Revenue strong, profit strong, but then the 2020 crisis, the 2020 lockdown ensued, and look at that. The revenue dropped dramatically, and so did their profit. It dropped really bad. So this is American Airlines' income statement. Let's look at Delta's. Delta is the same story. 2019, all good, making money. 2020 occurs and they're making losses now. It's the same with Southwest. It's the exact same story. 2019, good. 2020, no one wants to travel, and therefore they're making losses. Same with United. Big losses here. $1.7 billion in losses. And so the question becomes, well, how long can these airline companies sustain these vast losses for? And this was the question that was running through Buffett's mind when he was deciding to sell or not. He said, if we owned all of the airlines, it would be a tough decision whether we should sustain billions of dollars of operating losses when you don't know how long it's going to occur. So that's key to note down for all airline shareholders or just those who are interested. How does a business deal with sustained losses for a period of time in which they just don't know how long it will last? The answer is they have to finance, they have to raise a lot of money to struggle through. At the end of the day, Buffett just did not want to be a business owner of a business that had to face these tough questions. And the next thing is, even if they are able to deal with these losses, they're still going to have to face the business realities of this new environment that we're in. At the end of the day, for the next year, 2 years, however long, people just aren't going to travel as much, not even close. And yet, you've still got the same amount of airline companies supplying those flights and supplying those seats. So you're going to have an oversupply of flights compared to the actual demand. What does this do to the price of flights? Well, you don't need to be a business genius to work out. It dramatically decreases the price. What does this do to the revenue of those airline companies? It shoots down, and it's the same with profit. So it's a completely different situation to what we had before, when we had, a few airline companies dominating an in-demand market. Now we have a few airline companies who are in strong competition with one another for a little demand of seats. Business-wise, it just does not bode well. As Buffett said, it's very likely that there will be too many planes around, and we know what happens in airline pricing when moat factors go down and there's an oversupply of airline seats. Basically, just as a business owner, it's not a fun situation to be in. And essentially what Buffett has done is he has weighed up the positives and the negatives of owning airlines. And I mean, pretty much the only main positive that we can talk about right now is the fact that prices on these airline stocks have gone down by so much, therefore making them cheap. But the negatives, well, I mean, there's a lot of them, as I've just gone over. And as Buffett explained in his shareholder meeting as well. So what Buffett has gone and done is he weighed up those factors, and at the end of the day, he came to the decision that it was not worthwhile being an airline company owner. He said, who knows how we come out of this, but I think that there's certain industries, and unfortunately, I think the airline industry among others, that are really hurt by a forced shutdown. And yeah, Buffett, he takes the blame himself for the loss that Berkshire made when investing in airline companies. But at the end of the day, no one knew that we were going to face a global shutdown, essentially completely drying up the demand for travel and the demand for planes. And to be honest, I thought Buffett, he might stick with airlines. He's someone who tends to like the panic and the fear. But this time round, with this particular business, it was clear that the business environment around airlines had completely changed. And for him, at least, it was not worthwhile holding any longer. Guys, I do hope that this clears up the reasons why Buffett sold all his airline stocks. Please drop a like if it did, and leave a comment on what are you doing when it comes to airline stocks. Should we be doing the same as Buffett, selling? Or do you think that Buffett has missed something in his entire sale of airline stocks?